New law makes protesting near the president illegal. Judge Napolitano calls it an assault on free speech. A new law makes protesting near the president or Secret Service illegal. Is that an assault on free speech? Judge Andrew Napolitano says categorically, yes, it is an assault on free speech. You have the right to make your opinions known in such a way that you're not blocking traffic and you're not blocking pedestrians. Napolitano warned that this is a very dangerous piece of legislation as it allows the Secret Service to decide who gets near whoever they are protecting, and the Secret Service can make that decision based on the content of your speech. He continued, that is using governmental power to discriminate on the basis of your opinions, the content of your speech. That's what the First Amendment was written to prevent the government from doing.
Welcome back. Congress can't agree on a long-term budget plan, but they have agreed on one thing. It should be illegal to protest near the president or the Secret Service. Is that an assault on free speech? Let's talk to Fox senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano. Good morning to you, Judge.
Good morning, Stevie. The answer to the question is yes, it is an assault on free speech. You have the right to make your opinions known in such a way that you're not blocking traffic and you're not blocking pedestrians. If the president's car goes by, you could say, hey, Mr. President, we love you. We hope you get reelected, or start packing.
Sure. You know, everybody wants to make sure that our president is safe. But the Secret Service not only providing security in this instance, but essentially you're saying they're checking the content of signs and whatnot.
This is a very dangerous piece of legislation. There were no committee hearings on it. There was no debate on it, and the president signed it in secret. It was passed unanimously by the Senate, and only 3 members of the House of Representatives voted against it. It basically lets the Secret Service decide who gets near whoever they're protecting, not just the president. It could be Hillary Clinton. It could be the vice president. It could
Romney,
be Mrs. Obama. Exactly. And the Secret Service can make that decision on the basis of the content of your speech. So if you have signs that say, start packing, Mr. President, the Secret Service can whisk you away. If you have signs that say, we love you, Mr. President, the Secret Service will let you stay, or has the authority to let you stay. That is using governmental power to discriminate on the basis of your opinions, the content of your speech. That's what the First Amendment was written to prevent the government from doing.
Well, even though most Americans haven't heard about this, so you got to look at some of the penalties. If you are charged, fine and prison term up to 1 year or up to 10 years if firearm is used or serious injury is caused as well. What are they trying to do here?
I think they're trying to insulate people in the government from the opinions of the rest of us. Remember, this statute...
They're building a wall.
Right. This statute doesn't say there's a bubble around the president. This statute says there's a bubble wherever the Secret Service wants the bubble.
Right.
It's letting the Secret Service, we know that some of them are great and some of them are not so great, deciding where we can stand when we protest. That is a profound violation of the First Amendment. The government doesn't seem to care about our civil liberties anymore, and the American public need to know that. Fox received emails from a family in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The president's motorcade was coming down our street. We were standing in our front yard with our infant children. The Secret Service made us get out of our front yard and go into our house because they didn't want the president to see us.
Oh, my
goodness. That's not America.
That is unusual. All right. Well, I'm sure they had a good reason, right?
They didn't give one.
Okay.
And they shouldn't have that authority. You should be able to stand on your own property.
Just to wave. I mean, that's historic. The president doesn't drive by every day.
Now let's look at the First Amendment. The First Amendment to the United States Constitution prohibits the making of any law respecting an establishment of religion, impeding the free exercise of religion, abridging the freedom of speech, infringing on the freedom of press, interfering with the right to peaceably assemble, which is what they're attacking now, or prohibiting the petitioning for a governmental redress of grievances, which is protesting. It was adopted on December 15, 1791, as one of the 10 amendments that comprised the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights was originally proposed as a measure to assuage anti-federalist opposition to constitutional ratification. Initially, the First Amendment applied only to laws enacted by Congress, and many of its provisions were interpreted more narrowly than they are today. Beginning with Gitlow versus New York in 1925, the Supreme Court applied the First Amendment to states, a process known as incorporation, through the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment. Remember that Due Process Clause about, eliminating American citizens with drones on American soil? That's a violation of the 14th Amendment, killing someone without due process. In Everson versus Board of Education in 1947, the court drew on founding father Thomas Jefferson's correspondence to call for a wall of separation between church and state, though the precise boundary of this separation remains in dispute. Speech rights were expanded significantly in a series of 20th and 21st century court decisions, which protected various forms of political speech, which is what they're trying to impede upon now with this new law, anonymous speech, campaign financing, which the IRS impeded upon when they targeted conservative groups, pornography, and school speech. These rulings also defined a series of exceptions to the First Amendment protections. The Supreme Court overturned the English common law precedent to increase the burden of proof for defamation and libel suits, most notably in New York Times Company versus Sullivan in 1964. Commercial speech, however, is less protected by the First Amendment than political speech, and is therefore subject to greater regulation. The Free Speech Clause protects publication of information and opinions and applies to a wide variety of media. In Neer versus Minnesota in 1931 and the New York Times versus the United States in 1971, the Supreme Court ruled that the First Amendment protected against prior restraint, pre-publication censorship in almost all cases. Weren't some reporters' computers hacked recently? I wonder by whom. The Petition Clause protects the right to petition all branches and agencies of government for action, in addition to the right of assembly guaranteed by this clause, which is what they're impeding upon right now. The court has also ruled that the amendment implicitly protects freedom of association.